Sorry, we're full. There's no room at the inn. I have a small stable, one innkeeper said. It's warm and it's dry, with clean straw for a bed.
Everything is new again, walking with the permagrin, head so high. I'm back with you and all is right. Shaking on the apple tree, ticking off the honeybees, watch them fly. It's just like we never said goodbye. And you're like a worn out shirt that's soiled with dirt. But
it's okay. I wouldn't mind the water so much if it wasn't so wet. Alex, takes the lead!
Alex, what do you got there?
Hey, Grandpa, check out what I made from old restaurant stuff. A super trike. Look, he's a paddle brake. Right. Now I have to put it all back together again.
Wait, Alex! The birds are all over the street. You can't go out looking for them in all this traffic.
What are you doing this? And raise you all the room. You say, oh. Rabbit.
Anything to do with learning was very frustrating for Sam.
Is the door closed?
He felt like
Nope.
he was smart. And then we found out he was.
I hear her downstairs. It's Kane. I hear Kane.
No, it's eight.
He's like a brain.
What?
How are you always smart?
Fine. What you doing with that cat?
The downstairs I go to the bathroom. We're downstairs now.
Okay, the first Christmas.
What are you doing, Kenny? Yeah,
Our story begins in old Nazareth, where a young maiden Mary was to marry Joseph. But one day the angel Gabriel appeared, saying to Mary, "There is nothing to be feared. You have been chosen to bear God's Son. His name will be Jesus. He will save everyone." Mary was worried. What would Joseph say if she was with child on their wedding day? But Gabriel gave Joseph the wondrous news that she bore God's Son, the King of the Jews. So Mary and Joseph were happily married and awaited the child that sweet Mary carried. Then one day a messenger came to declare they should go to their birthplace to pay taxes there. Mary rode her donkey while Joseph led them on the long winding road towards Bethlehem. They journeyed on all day until night, when finally Bethlehem came into sight. Donkey doesn't have a name.
That's like, say her name, Donkey 6.
As they entered the town, it soon became clear that they needed to rest, for the baby was near. But wherever they went, they were told the same thing. Sorry, we're full. There's no room at the inn. I have a small stable, one innkeeper said. It's warm and it's dry, with clean straw for a bed. So that very night before break of dawn, the animals watched as Jesus was born. They all rejoiced as they saw
It's a baby
where
donkey.
he lay, God's
I
only
named her
Son,
Donkey too.
in a manger of hay, that did not know that the baby so small would one day grow up to save us all. No, that's not a baby donkey. That's just a regular sized donkey. This is a baby lamb.
Oh, this is mommy, ma'am. Let's call her big sister.
High over the hills, on that joyous night, some shepherds were roused by a dazzling light. Do not be afraid, an angel said. I've come with good tidings God wants you to spread. Born on this night is a baby boy who brings peace on earth, goodwill and joy. When darkness returned and the shepherds were able, they left their sheep flock and went to the stable. They knelt before Jesus and began to sing, "Praise be to God for our Savior the King." Then they told Mary all they had heard before they departed to spread the good word.
Shippers.
In a land to the east, over hills afar, 3 wise men saw a bright new star. The wise men knew that the star foretold the birth of a king, for it was written of old. And so they journeyed night after night, followed the star that shone so bright. I gotta be able to see it to read. Don't pull on it. At last they arrived in Jerusalem town, where King Herod sat on the throne of his crown.
Those rounds.
They asked him, "Have you seen the new Jewish king? We followed the star in search of him." Herod was angry, for he was no fool. He knew that a new king would threaten his rule. He said, "When you find the King of the Jews, return by my palace to pass on the news." So, bearing rich gifts, they went on to find the little Lord Jesus, so gentle and kind. Kneeling before him, they started to sing, "With these precious gifts we praise the new King."
This is God's.
And we call it Christmas.
This is no one. Goldfish. If he does it, Look. Big. Mommy, if he does it, please. Mommy.
"Come on, Dad," Nemo called out. "It's time for school." The little clownfish Nemo was ready for his first day of school. One of Nino's fins were smaller than the other, so he was not a great swimmer. Nemo, however, didn't let it slow him down, but his father, Marlin, wasn't ready for Nemo to go. He was very protective of his son, and he worried a lot. All night, Marlin reluctantly agreed. Then he went over the safety rules. "So first we checked to see that the coast is clear," coached Marlin as he swam out of the anemone foam. "We got out and back
This
in,
house.
and then we go out and back in, and then Dad," Nemo interrupted. He tugged on his father's fin and pulled him out at last. Soon Nemo and Marlin arrived at the schoolyard. The teacher, Mr. Ray, sailed in to take the children on the field trip. "Bye, Dad," Nemo shouted as Mr. Ray swam away. "Bye, son," Marlin called. "Be safe." "You're doing pretty well," remarked one of the other fathers to Marlin. "I had a tough time when my oldest went out on the drop-off." Marlin gasped. "The drop-off? The drop-off?"
Hey,
Was
this
at the
comes
edge
on.
of the reef. There a fish could swim right out into the open sea and right into danger. Marlin immediately tried to catch up with the school route. Meanwhile, Nemo and his friends Tad, Sheldon, and Pearl sneaked away to look out over the edge of the drop-off. "I know what that is, a butt," said Tad, pointing up to the bottom of the boat. Then Sheldon dared them to see who could swim closest to it. Finally, it was Nemo's turn. "Come on, Nemo, how far can you go?" Tad challenged. My dad says it's not safe," Nemo said, not moving. At that moment, Marlin arrived. "You were about to swim into the open water," he accused. "You think you can do these things, but you just can't, Nemo." Nemo was angry and embarrassed. As soon as his father turned his back, Nemo defiantly took off and swam all the way to the boat. "Nemo, get back here," Marlin shouted, but it was too late. A diver appeared. He scooped up Nemo in a net, swam to the boat, and sped off.
What's next?
Marlin couldn't swim fast enough to catch up with the boat when he swam into a stream of fish. to ask for help. He slammed into one of them. "Sir, are you okay?" asked the friendly blue fish. "Hi, I'm Dory. I have to find the boat," said Marlin. "Hey, I have seen a boat. Follow me," she said. Marlin followed Dory until she suddenly turned around and said, "Stop following me." Marlin was confused until Dory explained, "I suffer from short-term memory loss." Marlin turned to leave and found himself facing a shark. Bruce the shark invited them to a party in a sunken submarine. The party was a meeting of sharks trying not to eat fish. While there, Marlin spotted a diver's mask that had been dropped by Nemo's captor. Marlin hoped the writing on the mask could help him find his son. Ugh, what do these markings mean? I can't read 'em. I can't read human, exclaimed Marlin. "Well, we gotta find a fish that can," encouraged Dory. They both grabbed the mask snapped and hit Dory in the face. "Oh," Dory cried as blood trickled from her nose.
This is it. I can see it. This is
The
what.
smell of blood made Bruce want to eat fish again. The party was over. Bruce chased the two fish. Luckily, Marlin and Dory escaped from the sub with the mask, and Dory remembered she could read, but before she could read it, the mask fell into a deep, dark ocean trend. Dory and Marlin plunged into the scary blackness after it. They couldn't see a thing. Then Dory cried, "I see a light." But the light turned out to be an angry anglerfish trap. The pair dodged the anglerfish's teeth just in time. As the anglerfish chased them, its light fell on something. "Hey, look, a mask," Dory shouted. "Read it," Marlin ordered, trying to keep the anglerfish away from Dory. Bring him closer. I need the light," Dory answered. Marlin led the anglerfish back and forth while Dory read the address on the mask, and Dory and Marlin escaped. "Hey, Ruby!" Then Dory and Marlin escaped in the nick of time. "P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney," said Dory proudly as they swam off. "Now where is that?" wondered Marlin. It turned out that 42 Wallaby Way was a dentist office in Sydney, Australia. The diver who had caught Nemo was the dentist, and he put the little fish into his office aquarium. The aquarium was home to an interesting group of fish known as the tank gang. A friendly pelican named Nigel was perched in the dentist's windowsill visiting the tank gang. From them, Nemo found out that he was going to become a gift for the dentist's niece, Darla. The tank gang told Nemo that the dentist had given Darla a fish last year and it hadn't survived. "I have to get back to my dad," cried Nemo, horrified. The leader of the tank gang, Gail, reassured Nemo that they would find a way to escape before Darla arrived. Meanwhile, back in the ocean, P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney, Dory proudly repeated the address over and over. Marlin asked a school of moonfish if they could tell him how to get to Sydney. The moonfish didn't want to help Marlin, but they were happy to help Dory. They formed themselves into a narrow pointing in the direction of Sydney. "Great," said Marlin, rushing off the direction they had indicated. "Oh, hey, ma'am," the moonfish said to Dory. "When you come to the trench, swim through it, not over it." "I'll remember," said Dory, and she hurried to catch up with Marlin.
This him?
"I gotta tell you something," Dory shouted to Marlin. When she finally caught up with him at the edge of the scary trench, she couldn't remember what she needed to say. "We are going to swim over this thing," Marlin said. "Something's telling me we should swim through it," said Dory, but Marlin easily tricked her into forgetting, and she happily followed him. As it turned out, danger was lurking in the clear water above the trench. Dory was the first to find it. "Oh," Dory yelled. A baby jellyfish had stung her. Marlin rushed over and shooed the baby away. "Let's be thankful this time it was just a little one," Marlin said, but then When they looked around, Marlin and Dory discovered that they were surrounded by hundreds of jellyfish. "This is bad," said Marlin. But Dory was giggling. "Hey, watch this," she said, bouncing on the top of the jellyfish. Marlin quickly made up a game of jumping on the jellyfish tops. "But there was one rule: you can't touch the tentacles," Marlin explained. The race began. After a while, Marlin hopped out of the jellyfish forest, but when he turned around, Dory was nowhere in sight. "Dory," Marlin cried. Then he saw her caught in a jellyfish tentacle. Marlin swam back to his friend and drug her out of the jellyfish forest. Then everything went black. Later, Marlin woke to find that he was riding on the back of a sea turtle named Crush. "Saw the whole thing, dude," said Crush. He was quite impressed with Marlin's bravery. Marlin and Dory were in a group of sea turtles traveling on the East Australian current headed for Sydney. Marlin told the turtles about his quest to find Nemo. The story passed quickly from sea creatures to sea creatures. Finally, Nigel, the pelican friend of the Taint Gang, heard about Marlin's search. The ride on the current was great fun for Marlin and Dory, but suddenly Crush called out, "Get ready, your exit's coming up, man." "Thank you, dude, Crush," Marlin shouted as he and Dory left the current. They soon found themselves in a very murky water looking for Sydney. "Let's ask somebody for directions," suggested Dory, spotting what looked like a small fish far away. "There's somebody. It's a fish we don't know. It could ingest us," Marlin said nervously. But Dory continued. "Woohoo, little fella," she said. But soon Marlin and Dory discovered that the little fish was a giant whale. In one big mouthful, it swallowed both of them up. "We're in the well," shouted Marlin. "Wow, a well. You know, I speak well." Dory listened carefully to the whale's loud moans. He said, "We should go to the back of the throat." Marlin was irritated. "Of course he wants us to go there. That's eating us." "He says it's time to let go," Dory told Marlin, so Marlin let go. Suddenly he and Dory found themselves being shouted out of the mouth spout. They flew into the air, then splashed back into the sea. When the two of them had recovered, they realized that they were in Sydney Harbor. "You were right, Dory. We made it. We're going to find my son," shared Marlin. "All we have to do is find the boat that took him." But Sydney Harbor was full of boats. The two fish searched all through the night. The next morning, a hungry pelican scooped up the exhausted pair of fish into his beak. Then he flew back towards land. "No, I didn't come this far to be breakfast," yelled Marlin. He braced himself in the pelican's throat so that the bird couldn't swallow them. The pelican coughed, and the two fish landed on the pier. Just then Nigel arrived. "I gotta find my son Nemo," screamed Marlin. Nigel recognized Marlin as Nemo's father. "Hey, wait. Hop inside my mouth," he told Marlin and Dory. "I can take you to your son." Back at the dentist's office, things were going badly for little Nemo. Niece Darla was due to arrive any moment. The dentist had Nemo in the water-filled plastic bag ready to give him to her. The dentist placed the bag with the panicked Nemo on the table. The Taint Gang instructed Nemo to push the side of the bag so that it would roll out of the open window, but just as Nemo succeeded in getting the bag rolling, the dentist noticed. "Oh, that would be a nasty fall," the dentist said, catching the bag and setting it down on the tray. Suddenly, the door of the office slammed open and Darla stomped in. But Nemo had an idea. He pretended to be dead, hoping that the dentist would flush him down the toilet from there. Nemo planned to swim to the ocean. "Hello, Darla, honey," said the dentist to his niece. "Oh no," he murmured when he noticed the motionless Nemo. The dentist quickly hid the bag behind his back so Darla wouldn't see it. Moments later, the window burst open. In flew Nigel carrying Dora and Marlin. "What the?" exclaimed the dentist when Nigel collided with him. The dentist dropped the bag holding Nemo onto the tray. A sharp instrument on the tray tore a small hole in the bag. Then from his view in Nigel's beak, Marlin spotted Nemo and thought his son was dead. "Nemo," he cried. Nemo heard his father's voice, but it was too late. The dentist had closed Nigel's beak and shoved him out of the window. In the confusion, Darla had picked up the bag and swung it back and forth, chanting, "Fishy, fishy." Nemo poured out of the hole in the bag and became stranded on the dental tool. The tank gang came to the rescue with the help of his friends. Gil catapulted out of the tank, hit the dental tool with his tail, and launched Nemo through Darla's grabby hands into a spit sink. Nemo disappeared down the drain. "Don't worry," Gil yelled to him. "All drains lead to the ocean." Whoosh! Nemo swooped and swerved through the pipes. It was quite a ride. Back in Sydney Arbor, Marlin sadly said goodbye to Nigel and Dory. He swam past 2 crabs on a drainage pipe, and then he joined a school of grouper fish. Marlin started the long swim home. Nemo, meanwhile, ended his ride. What are you doing in there?
I want to sleep in here.
What are you doing in there? Are you going to sleep in that? Huh? You never liked that before. When it was on your cat tree. You never even thought about going in it. What do you think of that, Toffee? Is that okay he's in your hammock?
Ruby wanted to be in here too. Ruby loved this kid. You love this kiddo?
You all want to live in the rabbit cage?
Ruby, you want to live in the rabbit cage? Come on.
Smile. Smile for the camera. Smile for the camera. And you got the other monkey. Smile.
Jeez. Tickled. Yeah, no, guys. I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood.
You in the mood to be tickled? Well, why are you over here? You sound like it.
Well, I love it. Don't tickle me.
Oh, you're not in the mood to be tickled.
I'm not in the mood to get tickled.
Oh, don't fall.
Please move. Dog. Look. Okay. Sissy, don't talk. Dog can hit the bully and shoot it. This. There's not a nice guy. Okay. What's it doing? Dog and the boy fighting the shore. Boy. 5 stars. Why read this? Buzz looking for the Buzz. No, Buzz. See? Buzz. And him.
Woody?
We eat. This will eat. This boss. With this, Woody. It is this. Hi, Jeremy.
What is it? You tell me.
Bible. With this crazy Bibles. One night, is she shark? You sis. Sis not happy about this baby rich. And those guys gotta look at Wee Nemo. Okay. When I this hole in it, and I got her out. So much. They. What? Oh. One night, this goldfish, white, his name was co-stars. It's up one night. Nemo stuck in here. And this porcupine, and this, and that. One night, other fish named Sans. One night, his aunt said jellyfish. No, there's a baby jellyfish. He says, us. One night, it's giant whale. I saw this whale. It's so One night, this girl named Sam, his name Pony. What's her called again?
Darla.
Darla? Darlin. No, what's his name?
Nemo.
You want to die in? Denise, her mom?
Okay, finish reading the story.
Okay. One night, this goldfish. It's a goldfish. No, Rook. It's cowfish. It's cowfish.
Yep, it's a clownfish.
One night, the daddy cowfish. A cat, baby catfish. Angel catfish. No. No, it's just a wiggle. It's a wiggle. And one night, I need to read the other story. E-N. Good night. Hey, Grandma, I gotta read another story.
Say goodnight.
Good night.